Hi everyone, my name is Tori, this is Nova Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a romance recommendations video to share with you, and I'm talking about pining heroes. These are heroes that literally for most of the book just constantly pine after our female character, and it is actually one of my favorite things to read. I have a lot of favorite things, okay? I have a lot of favorite things that I read in romance, okay? But this one is it just makes for such an addictive read that you're just like, I want to see more of him doing this. I want to see more of their romance. I want to see how long is it going to take for her to finally give in to all this pining. So it's kind of the same thing with groveling. Like when something happens, you want the main male character to grovel and to just like keep doing it. So it's like till he's forgiven. But with pining, it's just until she gives in and is like, finally, yes, I like you too. So I have a list to share with you, so let's just go ahead and jump in. So the first book I have to share with you is The Hookup by Kristen Callahan. This is a new adult college sport romance. Drew Baylor is the ultimate pining hero. He made me like make this list, if that makes sense. So I started this list when I read this book last year in 2022 and at the end of last year in 2022, and I have just been making a list as I've been reading books for those heroes that pine, and Drew Baylor is one of them. He is the star on a football team and the college football team, and our female character Anna is like, I don't want anything to do with you. Him and her kind of have like one night together, if that makes sense. And after that, like Drew is like, I'm obsessed with her. Like after a little bit, he's like, I know she's that one person for me. Like, I know. And Anna is just like, no. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. You are in the limelight because you're the quarterback of the football team. And I do not want anything to do with you. I want to like live my quiet life and like just finish college and not have like everyone, you know, like around me and knowing what I'm doing, right? But Drew doesn't let her like go. He is constantly, for most of the book, I want to say for like 70% of the book, he is pining after her. And it's like, I just let me love you. Like she won't even let Drew kiss her because she knows if he lets her do that, she's going to fall for him. And she knows that she does not want that right now, but she finally gives in, and it's such a beautiful story. Both of them, this is a very emotional story. Like it made me actually a lot more emotional than I was expecting. So highly suggest this one if you're looking for a sport football romance. Love this one so much. The next book I have is another sports romance, but it's a new adult hockey sports romance, and that is Offside by Avery Keelan. I read this book, fell in love with Chase, fell in love with him. Chase and Bailey have this interesting friendship. It's developed after Bailey's ex-boyfriend, but you see at the beginning of the book, he breaks up with her and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. He's so focused on going to the NHL. He's like, I don't want you to come with me and all this stuff like that. But her brother also plays on the hockey team, but Chase is actually on the rival hockey team. So there's two colleges that are kind of in the towns near each other. Obviously, they're rivals and they're on the same like division, I guess you could say. They play against each other multiple times. And Bailey kind of has this, like at first she's like, I can't be friends with you. You're on like the rival hockey team, right? And he's like, no, it's fine. Just like come hang out. He realizes how shitty everyone's treating her once her ex-boyfriend broke up with her, if you know what I mean. And he's like, that's kind of not right. But when I tell you he's pining, he like not secretly pines. How is the word? He like softly pines for her. He knows that she's not like ready to just dive in. He knows that he's a rival, but he is confident. He is such a book boyfriend. Oh my gosh. He takes her on hot chocolate dates. They go into the hockey rink when like no one's in there at like kind of late at night just to like have a date and hang out. He like is just like so affectionate with her. So it's like different pining than constantly like, give me a chance. It's like I'm pining after her to like slowly break down her walls, if that makes sense. And like once that's broken down and she really sees how I am, not what everyone perceives me to be, like this asshole hockey player, she's gonna love me. I know it. And he's also like, I think she's like the one person for me. And I love that. I love it when the guys like basically fall first and they realize this girl is it for me and I need to get her at any Like, I need to get her. Whatever it takes, I need to get her. Love it. Love this one so much. Such a good new adult hockey romance. The next book I have is The Brawl by Will and Ash. And I feel like this is the epitome of pining hero. Like, he is, our main male character in this book is the epitome. So he's a lawyer that just moves to Calamity, Montana, which is the city, Calamity, in Montana. And he is staring out of his new law firm that he has in the middle of the city. And he sees this woman walking down the street and he's like, oh my God, who is this woman? So he goes outside and the only thing he can think of to like have her talk to him is to drop his money. And was like, oh, I'm sorry, did you drop this? Obviously, she didn't drop anything. And she's like, no. She's a single mom, come to find out, and they live near each other. I think they're neighbors, if I'm not mistaken. They live like right next to each other. And she just does not want someone in her life right now. Like, she does not want anyone. She doesn't want anything to do with it. She is a single mom just trying to live her life. And he like slowly but surely like pines after her. Not uses her child, because I don't want to say that, it sounds bad, but he like gets on the child's like good side and is like the fun person. And this is not my favorite in the Calamity Montana series by Will and Ash, but it's the newest release and it is so good and I love it so much. It was such a good pining romance. It's a little bit on the shorter side compared to some of these other books, so if you're looking for that, definitely check this one out too. But he pines for, I want to say, like good half of the book. Like, I want to say for a good half. He knows she has shit going on. He knows how to kind of like maneuver himself where she's like, to make himself available whenever she's ready. And I loved it. The next book I have is What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. So this is a forbidden, very taboo. No, I wouldn't say very taboo, but QB Tyler is known for those taboo books, and in this case, it is a very much age gap. Basically, our female character, when she turns 18, she starts having a thing for her dad's best friend. Yep. Who is also known as her godfather, and you know, that's a little taboo. That's a little taboo side, but for a couple years they have this thing and he kind of gets a little spooked, but he takes a job in like a third world country. He's a doctor, so he goes and he leaves for a couple years, and the only reason why he comes back is because he gets an invitation to her wedding to someone else, and he's like, oh hell no, that's not happening. Like, I know I screwed up. So this is more groveling than pining, but it's one of those things where he's pining after her but also groveling at the same time. Like, he has to grovel, but also pine. So he has to, like, show that he's sorry in certain ways and, like, kind of beg for her forgiveness, but also at the same time pine for her to, like, give him another chance. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that story. It's not going to be for everyone. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really, really loved it. It's the age gap, all the problems with being the dad's best friend comes out. It's a lot. It's a lot. But QB Tyler knows how to write steam. She knows how to write a good love story. She knows how to write a good forbidden love story. So definitely check this one out if that sounds right up your alley. A little bit on the forbidden side, not so lightheartedness, if that makes sense. The next book I have to share with you is Arresting Witch Face by Juliet Cross. So this is book 5 in the Stay a Spell series. I think it's book 5. Yeah. Book 5 in the Stay a Spell series, and in this book we have Ruben and Jules. Now we see these two characters in the first book, in Wolf Gone Wild, and you see that they've had like a thing, and now 12 years have passed, and they're kind of forced together to work on this kind of like political agenda for the supernatural world, like with different supernatural creatures. So she's a witch, she is the enforcer of New Orleans, and Ruben is a vampire, and he owns his own kind of thing. They're really, really powerful. Both of them are like two of the most powerful people in New Orleans currently. Of course, he's been around for a while, like hundreds of years, and he has I wouldn't say pined the whole time, like the whole 12 years. You see in the book that something happened, and then like they kind of like break up, and now 12 years later they've constantly like tiptoed around each other. They're like not in the same room if they don't have to be. They only work together when they really, really have to. But in this case, in this book, they're forced together. They're forced to go to different towns. Like they go to Texas at one point, then they go to like New England, and then they go to England. And so they're forced to, you know, one bed at one point, one room at one point. And it's just, you can feel the tension like crackling to where like you can tell that their walls, especially Jules, it's more Jules, I should say, that Ruben is pining after Jules because he knows like she just has to let go of the fear that she has, if that makes sense. And so he's doing like little things, and he knows, you see it from the very beginning. He says to himself, because you get both points of view, he's like, I know she's not ready for everything, so I have to like slowly ease into it. I have to slowly do things here and there, like grab her hand or like do something for her or give her a gift, you know, like those little things just to like show her like, I'm interested again. Because if he goes balls to the wall, she's gonna get scared and back off completely. So it's one of those like soft pining type things, kind of like Offside, and I loved it. Loved it so much. It was so good. This next book is gonna be for everyone, but if you know, you know. That's Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. So this is the first book in the Magnolia Parks universe, and I I would say there's pining, but BJ is a fool. I'll just say that. He constantly fucks stuff up all the time. Poor boy. He has done something that is basically unforgivable in a lot of people's eyes, and Magnolia just like doesn't want anything to do with him romantically, but they are best friends. They have been best friends. They are soulmates. They are meant for each other, and they both know that. But BJ and Magnolia, both of them honestly, keeps fucking everything up, and they keep, what's the word? They like pine for each other, they want the other, but then they like push them away at the last minute, like when they're finally ready. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What's going on? Why are you doing this to yourselves? So it's one of those things where the pining continues through this book, through Daisy Hates, through Magnolia Parks, Long Way Home, through Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. Like, it's constantly in there. So Magnolia and BJ don't have a happily ever after yet, but in the third book, hopefully Jessa Hastings gives them their happily ever after, because I need it. The next book I have is Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. I read this at the beginning of January for a reading vlog, and this one is a book that took a lot of people by surprise last year, and it made their top lists, and a lot of people really, really love it. So basically, this is an adult romance. Our female character, she is working as a flight attendant, and you see her go into a new job as a flight attendant for this hockey team. And Z, or Xanders, they call him Z, he is the co-captain of the hockey team. So yes, hockey star and the flight attendant. Let me just say that. And she knows not to get involved. One, because their job says no. Well, her job says no, you can't get involved with the player that you work for. But she knows that, so she is constantly pushing him away. Like, when I mean constantly, I mean like most of the book. She's pushing him away. But Z is confident, and he's egotistical, and he knows that he can get pretty much any girl if he works for it, and he's really working for it in this one. I will say that this book is on the longer side. It is an extremely long book. And there's a lot of character development between both of the characters, but I really enjoyed the book. And that pining is, I want to say, for a little over half of the book. They really don't get together until, like, really her walls break down, and she's like, okay, fine, I do feel something for you. Here it is. You know what I mean? Like, here I am type of a thing. And I personally enjoyed it. It wasn't like my favorite book of all time, but I really enjoyed it. I see why everyone loves it. And I can't wait for the next book that Liz Tom Ford is going to release, I think in February or March, if I'm not mistaken. So those are all of the books that I have where we have some pining heroes. You can let me know if you have any recommendations for me. I would love to know. Drop them in the comments down below. Leave me a, what kind of emoji? What's a pining emoji? Leave me a diamond emoji. I don't know why that came up in my mind, but leave me a diamond emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.